Graham, before we start today's discussion about your business review, it's a really sad day here at Rangers following the news that Sandy Jardin's lost his battle with cancer.
Yes, indeed. A very sombre day at Ibrox today. Rangers has lost a man of tremendous integrity, professionalism, a true living legend. His impact has been felt right across the club from his playing days and then into his post-playing days. The like of the man we'll probably never see again. He's had such an impact across every facet of the club, and there's a real sense of sadness about Rangers this morning.
Was there any consideration given perhaps to postponing discussion of the review in light of Sandy's passing?
We did consider it, and I think in the way that Sandy, the way that Sandy would have wanted to approach Rangers Football Club, which is dear to his heart, he would have wanted the club to continue. He knows how important the business review and the future strategic direction of the club is. I believe Sandy would have wanted us to continue to do the right thing for Rangers. So after lengthy consideration, we determined to continue as we planned.
Moving on to the review then, would it be fair to say that it's perhaps the most significant ever published by a leading football club, and why was it so important for you to do this?
I think it is a very important and significant document for us. I said at the AGM back in December that what we wanted to do was to review every facet of the club's operations, to truly understand how the club was operating, how it has operated, and put in place a strong structure to allow us to move forward into the future with a degree of confidence. It's taken us a little over 120 days to do that, and we've come through it now with a real sense of understanding of what has happened in the period post-administration, how the business has been run. We've got a very, very good handle now on the current dynamics and the issues that needed to be addressed in the near term. But probably more importantly, and I think what Rangers fans are looking for, is a sense of vision and a sense of purpose as to what the future for their club looks like. So yes, I think it is a very, very important document, and I certainly hope that Rangers fans, will look at it and realise the depth of analysis, the depth of work that has gone in to actually positioning their club to be great once again.
You mentioned the fact that it's run a little over the 120 days. What's the reason behind the delay in publishing? Well,
I think the 120 days almost assumed a life of its own. If you recall, when I stood up at the AGM, the 120 days was an outline period, really based on an assessment of the breadth of the project that we wanted to do. It wasn't just about analysing the past and the current situation. It was also about spending time to map out the future, because actually that's what's more important as we sit here today. We're talking about the future of Rangers Football Club, and that strategic direction and focus took a bit of time in order to work our way through. So whilst we completed the review within the 120 days, then going through review and endorsement by the board, and here we are some 7 days beyond that, coming out and meeting our commitment to the fans, to tell them about their club.
As you say, you have now published, so what are the main outcomes of the review?
The review effectively is broken into three sections. It looks at the history, and it looks at the way the club has operated, the way it has used some of the funds that have been available to it, some of the decisions that were made. It looks at the current state, and in terms of what we need to do in the business today to reposition the club, to put it on a firm financial foundation, a firm operating foundation. And then the third part is then looking forward and saying, okay, let's look at the ambition. Everybody connected with Rangers Football Club demands success. We're here to win football matches, we're here to win championships, we're here to win titles. So what comfort can we draw from looking at the strategic positioning of the club, giving the supporters comfort that we have a plan, we have a vision, and we have a way to deliver against that ambition.
So taking the third of those 3 points, what is the board's vision for the club going forward?
The vision is very clear. It's to return Rangers to the top of domestic and European football, and to do that in a progressive manner. We all understand the position that the club has been in and the current circumstances that we are, and I think it would be foolhardy for any Rangers fan to think that this is an overnight fix. But what we have got is a very clear vision that builds ourselves across the next few years to take Rangers back to the top flight. We're looking at investments across the club, and strategically we will focus on 5 key areas to rebuild the club. We will look at our football performance and overall capability. We're looking at youth development and player asset management in terms of how we can improve the effectiveness of the money that we spend on football players. We're going to look at how we can effectively re-engage with our fan base, locally and globally. We want to have a club that is regarded as best in class operationally and commercially, and we're putting resources and effort to rebuild our capability there. And last but not least, play a significant part in the communities in which we operate. So everything that we do in the football club will be based around one of those 5 key strategic areas, obviously with football performance and football success at the very heart of it.
Obviously, in terms of financing that, season ticket sales are an important part of that. They're dominating the news around the club at the moment. Can you update us on how that's going?
Yeah, sure. I think a lot of the Rangers fans are waiting to get an update from the club in terms of the future vision. They want a degree of reassurance as to the vision, the ambition, and how their club is going to look in the future. So I think a large proportion of our season ticket base are waiting to hear what we're talking to them about today. Sales generally have been quite slow, but that's not unusual, in terms of the stage in the cycle, that we are at. But I think the majority of fans are looking for a sense of purpose. They're looking for a sense of vision to give them a reason as to why they want to continue to back their club. And they've been magnificent. The past 2 seasons in particular, you look at the level of season ticket sales that we've had. And I think it's incumbent on me, it's incumbent on the management team here to be able to demonstrate to Rangers fans that we have a clear idea, a clear vision that's going to give them comfort that their club is going to thrive.
What would happen to the club in the event that not enough supporters did choose to renew when they do make that decision?
I think in order for there to be a material impact on the club, there would have to be a significant shortfall in season ticket holders renewing in order for there to be a material financial impact for us. If that was to happen, there are a number of options available to the club, including raising money through an additional equity raise that would provide funding should that situation arise. So there are options there, but I think it's incumbent on me, it's incumbent on us as a club to be able to demonstrate and convince the Rangers supporters that there is a vision, there is a strategy, there is a reason for them to continue to back their club. And if they continue to back their club, this club has all the potential to go from strength to strength.
When you originally sent out the season ticket renewals, the date for supporters to renew was May the 6th. You've extended that deadline today till May the 16th. What's the reason behind that decision? Yes,
the club's taken the decision to extend the deadline, really for 2 reasons. A lot of feedback that we received from supporters wanted a bit more time to consider what we're announcing today as part of the business review, so that they can understand and have time to digest the future vision and strategy that we have for the club. But probably more importantly, we've actually had to make a fundamental change to the basis upon which we can transact for season ticket renewals. The considerable comment externally about the financial health of the company, whether the company would remain a going concern, has caused significant issues in a number of areas for us at the club. One of those being the company who processes our credit card renewals, who has required us as part of them advancing the season ticket monies to us as part of normal course of events, requiring an extensive security package, to protect their interests, including security over Ibrox, which, from a board's perspective, we have been quite categorical in the past in terms of saying we would not provide security over Ibrox in any circumstances. So regrettably, we've had to take the decision that it's not in the best interests of Rangers to continue to be able to process season ticket renewals via credit and debit card, and we are reverting for this season to cash, bank transfer and payment at the box office. We appreciate that creates a significant issue for some supporters, and we do apologise for that. But in terms of getting the right long-term business outcome for Rangers, we believe this is the appropriate way to handle it. We will be writing to each season ticket holder individually later today to outline the revised process, and we feel it's only fair to extend the renewal window to give people time to make alternate arrangements. So, the club does apologise to the fan base for having to make this change very late in the day, but we believe it is in the best interest of Rangers to do this.
If you were in the position as a Rangers fan of making the decision, would you renew your season ticket?
I would, yes, I absolutely would. And I would on the basis of knowing the ambition, knowing the focus, knowing the work that's going on through every aspect of the club in order to position it and take it back to being capable of challenging at the top. I would have no hesitation in saying back your club in the way that you have, and together we can take this club back to the top.
When you first arrived at Rangers, you stated that the club was able to trade throughout this season without the need for sourcing any extra finance. We now know that wasn't the case. Does the review deal with the circumstances that surround that?
Yes, it does, and we've pointed out in the review, some of the operating and financial issues that we have encountered. When I joined at the end of November, and in fact stood up at the AGM and answered a question about the available funding in the business, my answer was honestly given based on the information that was available, to us and to me at that time. In conducting the review and going through considerably additional levels of detail, we have identified a number of issues, which have caused us to reappraise, that initial assessment.
The review analyses where money was raised and spent during the 18 months prior to your arrival at Ibrox. What's the rationale for making this level of detail available?
One of the key things that has come through to me in all my discussions with Rangers fans is they want to understand what has happened to their club post-administration. They talk about honesty, they talk about transparency, they talk about getting a level of information that gives them comfort that their club is in good hands and being properly managed. As part of that, we have decided, to respond to that concern and actually show for the 18-month period post-administration through to the end of December 2013, which is the last available public financial information that we have filed, to actually show the sources of income and where that income has in turn been spent, so that people can actually see on a totally transparent basis where the money has been raised and where it has been spent.
People will draw their conclusions from that, but what's your view of how the club was run and managed during that period?
I think we've pointed out in the review that a number of decisions that were taken were certainly very short term. Had there been a more medium to longer term view taken, then perhaps some of the decisions that had been made, may have been made differently. And I think as we look at the situation that we've been dealing with in the past several months in terms of, short term cash requirements, had there been a more medium and longer term view taken, previously, then some of those issues, undoubtedly would not have arisen.
You'll obviously be aware of the trust issues that have been surrounding the club for the last couple of years. Can supporters trust you to lead and manage their club back to where they want it to be?
Yes, I believe they absolutely can. My focus, I've said this before, my focus is 100% on doing the best for Rangers Football Club. The team I have working, around me and with me are similarly focused in order to rebuild the club. And my message to the supporters would be, absolutely, if you give us your trust and your support, and we will demonstrate in the fullness of time that trust was appropriate to be granted to us.
You've obviously gathered a lot of information over the period of the review. If you'd known when you came to Rangers what you're aware of now, would you have taken the job?
Yes, I would. It doesn't change my commitment and my focus. I knew there was a big job to be done here. I knew there was a challenge, and that was part of what excited me about coming. Was the opportunity to really make a difference, to the way the club is being run, and the future direction of the business. So it's true to say we've had a number of issues to deal with in the last few months that perhaps were not anticipated at the time of agreeing to come on board. But it doesn't change my resolve. It doesn't change my focus one bit.
In terms of achieving that change in the direction, will there be an organisational restructure at the club?
Yes, there will, and in fact we're talking to the staff today as part of the business review. We are reorganising the organisational structure at the club, to support the strategic objectives and making sure that every area of the club is aligned behind one of those 5 strategic areas that I mentioned earlier. So we'll be talking to the staff about some changes to organisation, some changes to job roles over the course of the day.
In terms of the football side of the business, is Ali McCoy going to be in a position to strengthen his squad come the summer?
Well, he seems to ask me every day if he's going to be getting money to strengthen his squad. We have taken the view, at the board level, we have endorsed a future plan that will allow us to invest in the team, including for this upcoming summer transfer window. So, Ali and I will be sitting down in the next 24 hours and actually talking specifics But he'll be reassured to know that there is money available to strengthen the squad for what we expect to be a very competitive championship next season.
It will be an interesting league. Do you believe that the current squad is capable of winning the title in the championship next year?
I think we have a very good squad. Like any football manager, Ali will he'll want to refresh. He'll want to look at how he can upgrade in certain areas of the team. I think the core we've got, is absolutely capable of performing right at the top level of the championship. But obviously, Ali will make his assessment in terms of the areas of the team that he believes need to be strengthened, and he and I will work together, on that in terms of how we can actually construct the economics to make these things happen.
There are some exciting plans for the future. Can you outline for us a little bit what a restructured Rangers looks like to you?
I think it comes back to looking at the 5 strategic priorities. At an elementary level, it's all about football. We want Rangers to be successful. We expect to have success on the pitch. So if we can put the focus and the resource around the football operations, supporting that with an increased investment into our youth development, which is fundamentally important, and then support that at the overall club level with engaging with the fans, operating our business in a true best-in-class sense, and also being a key partner in our communities. If we look at those 5 areas, everything that the football club does revolves around those, and I think gives us a great opportunity to drive ourselves forward.
In terms of funding that future, would you ever consider using Ibrox as collateral to raise further funding?
No, we've been quite categorical about this. In several previous instances, the club and the board, we have no intention to use Ibrox as collateral, and we've been quite clear about that.
And just finally, what message can you give to supporters today as you publish this review?
I think my overall message to the Rangers fans would be: you've been very patient, allowing us to conduct our assessment. We've done a detailed review of the business. We've made a number of changes already. We have a clear vision as to how we want to move forward. I would ask for their support. I would ask for their consideration of what we're telling them today, which I think is open, is honest, is transparent. In terms of the areas that the fans wanted to know about. But I think hopefully also they'll look at our sense of strategic vision and say there is a plan, because I think in the near term there absolutely is a strong commitment to take the club back to the top. And if they support the club in the way that they have magnificently in recent seasons, then together we can take the club back to the top.